Good evening. It is Thursday night and it is cold outside. And tonight we're going to read Genesis 35. Before I start, I would like to let y'all know about something. I don't know why I haven't mentioned this before. Saturday, some of us ladies at the church are going to make prayer boards, and that's, if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, it's very similar to a vision board. I've seen them done on poster boards and bulletin boards. Anyway, basically it's a thing to help you remember who you need to pray for and what you need to pray for. And so you might decorate it in colors that you like. Some people put envelopes where you can put your prayer request in the envelopes. Maybe you've got one labeled family and you've got one labeled business and one you've got labeled for your church and maybe your area. Any areas of your prayer life, you put envelopes or you pin the prayer requests themselves up on the board. It's just a way to visually remind yourself to pray and who you need to be praying for. And then of course most people, if they write their prayer request down on a piece of paper, they leave room for the answer so that they can jot that down and then keep that in another little envelope that says answer prayers or whatever. There's really no right or wrong way to do it. It's just a visual reminder to pray. And we're going to be doing those at the church Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock, Lifeline Church. So if you are interested in taking part in that, let me know and I will. It doesn't cost you anything. One of the young ladies who is an excellent cook is going to be cooking us a late lunch. And we're all bringing whatever kind of board we want to use and any art supplies, craft supplies that we've got, and we're all going to share. So it doesn't cost you anything. We'd love to have you. It's not something just for Lifeline Church. It's for anybody that wants to come. And we're going to do it we call it the family room. Most people call that room like the fellowship hall. There'll be plenty of room. We'll be glad to bring in extra chairs if we need to. But if you would like to come, we would love to have you and let you get to know us. So just send me a message on here and say I'm interested in more information, and I will send you an invite to the online event. That's just how we're keeping up with who's planning on coming. So come if you'd like to. We'd love to have you. And yes, I know I said ladies, but if guys want to come, I can't see a problem with guys. Usually this is a girl thing though. It's just, that's just, we like to pretty up things and give ourselves visual things. So let me know. I think it'll be a lot of fun. We'll have a good time getting to know one another and enjoying ourselves and having fellowship. So if y'all are interested in that, let me know. So tonight, see, here I go. Y'all, I promise y'all, I do not yawn until I get on here. Tonight we're going to read Genesis chapter 35. And it starts off, God blesses and renames Jacob. Now, we said at the end of chapter 33, the last verse says, there, and it's Jacob, there he erected an altar and called it Elohe Israel. So listen to what this says. God said to Jacob, arise, go up to Bethel and dwell there. Make an altar there to the God who appeared to you when you fled from your brother Esau. So Jacob said to his household and to all who were with him, put away the foreign gods that are among you and purify yourselves and change your garments. So now I've got a little note over here that says, why did they have to change their garments? Maybe that was an outward symbol of an inward change. And then I've got the God who answers me in the day of my distress. And then it says God sent them back not to old rituals and habits, but back to where he met them. So let me read that verse again. Put away the foreign gods that are among you and purify yourselves and change your garments. Then let us arise and go up to Bethel, so that I may make there an altar to the God who answers me in the day of my distress and has been with me wherever I have gone. And that's who God is for all of us. He meets us where we are, and he is there and answers our prayers when we are in distress. So they gave to Jacob all the foreign gods that they had and the rings that were in their ears. God hid them under the terebinth tree that was near Shechem. Now, I don't know why it signifies the rings in their ears. I don't think this is saying that having earrings is wrong and is against God. I don't think that at all. I just think there was some significance to the earrings that they had on, and they wanted to get rid of them because they were changing their old ways and going to God. Maybe that was one of the ways they worshiped the other gods. I don't know, but I don't think we need to read something into something when it's not there. And as they journeyed, a terror from God fell upon the cities that were around them, so that they did not pursue the sons of Jacob. And Jacob came to Luz, that is Bethel, which is in the land of Canaan, he and all the people who were with him. And there he built an altar and called the place El Bethel, because there God had revealed himself to them. God had revealed himself to him when he fled from his brother. And Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died, and she was buried under an oak below Bethel. So he called its name Allon Bacuth. God appeared to Jacob again when he came from Padan Aram and blessed him. And God said to him, "Your name is Jacob. No longer shall your name be called Jacob, but Israel shall be your name." So he called his name Israel. And God said to him, "I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall come from you, and kings shall come from your own body. The land that I gave to Abraham and Isaac I give to you, and I will give the land to your offspring after you." Then God went up from him in the place where he had spoken with him. And Jacob set a pillar in the place where he had spoken with him, a pillar of stone. He poured out a drink offering on it and poured oil on it. So Jacob called the name of the place where God had spoken with him Bethel, Bethel. And that's another one of those names that we see a lot of country churches, especially. It seems like the big city churches, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this, but they come up with other names. But used to, the church name was a name chosen from the Bible, or it was chosen, people moved from one area to another, and maybe they named the church after where they came from. So this was called Bethel, and the Hebrew word Beth, B-E-T-H, means house. So Beth El, E-L, I would think that means the house of God. And I wanted to say, up here where he says he called his name Israel, throughout the next few chapters, sometimes the Bible will reference him as Jacob and sometimes as Israel. And again, going back to the Bible recap, she says that sometimes it seems to do that when he's Jacob when he's acting in his old way, and he's Israel when he's acting in his new way. But Israel also, of course, refers to all the people, the people of Israel. So you'll notice that in the coming chapters. And then the next section is titled "The Deaths of Rachel and Isaac." Then they journeyed from Bethel. When they were still some distance from Ephrath, Rachel went into labor, and she had hard labor. And when her labor was at its hardest, the midwife said to her, "Do not fear, for you have another son." And as her soul was departing, for she was dying, she called his name Benoni, but his father called him Benjamin. Now, I believe Benoni meant, Benjamin means son of the right hand, but I believe Benoni meant it was a sad name. I don't remember. I just remember reading that. Anyway, his father called him Benjamin. So Rachel died, and she was buried on the way to Ephrath, that is Bethlehem. And Jacob set up a pillar over her tomb. It is the pillar of Rachel's tomb, which is there to this day. Israel journeyed on and pitched his tent beyond the Tower of Eder. While Israel lived in that land, Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard of it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12. The sons of Leah, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel, Joseph, and Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah, Rachel's servant, Dan and Naphtali. The sons of Zilpah, Leah's servant, Gad and Asher. These were the sons of Jacob who were born to him in Paddan Aram. And Jacob came to his father Isaac at Mamre, or Kiriath Abba, that is Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac had sojourned. Now the days of Isaac were 180 years, and Isaac breathed his last, and he died, and was gathered to his people, old and full of days, and his sons Esau and Jacob buried him. So let's just notice as we carry on, sometimes Jacob and sometimes Israel. That's one of the things we can watch for. There's so much history here, and here we go. And we sometimes we get caught up in little things, like that thing about the earrings. That's an interesting fact, but we don't know the whole reason about it. So again, let's be careful about making a major rule or a law or judgment out of a little tiny thing. I'm sure it's there for a reason, but it may not be what we think it's there for. I don't know about you, but I remember being a little girl, and it was frowned upon for women to wear a lot of jewelry, especially if you were a church person. It was considered gaudy and flashy to wear a lot of jewelry. You just didn't do that. And women were supposed to wear skirts or dresses. And I think I've told y'all before, I can remember being a little girl and Mama and Aunt Betty and Grandma would load us up, my brothers and I. I don't know how we all got in one car, but we did. And sometimes Aunt Betty's sons, which would have been 5 kids in the back seat, I still don't know how we did that, because it was just a 2-seater car, a big old land yacht. And we would go to Montgomery, and sometimes we were going after school clothes or stuff like that. It was usually a big trip if we went. And I can remember pulling up in the mall parking lot, and this lady was an aisle over. We saw her get out of her vehicle, and we were just sitting there for just a minute. I don't know why we were sitting there, but Mama and Aunt Betty were shocked that this lady that was walking into the mall did not have a girdle on. One of them said, "Well, I wish you'd just look. She doesn't have a girdle on." And in my mind, I'm thinking, how do they know? How do they know she doesn't have a girdle on? Well, as an adult who has worn control top pantyhose, I know now how they know. Nothing was moving. But to me, my little girl mind, I didn't know. I couldn't figure out how they knew. She was just, like anybody else, she was just walking across the parking lot. But my mama and my aunt were, as my grandmama used to say, mortified. They just could not believe that a presentable person was going into the mall in midday and she didn't have the proper undergarments on. So anyway, I'm just saying that sometimes we can get caught up in stuff that is really not going to affect our salvation, and we make major rules and guidelines out of it when it was never meant to be that way. So let's be careful to keep the main thing, and not worry about these little things. Like I was talking about the other night about the translations. Let's don't worry about those really are little things. They're tools. Any translation of the Bible is a tool to help us understand it. So let's not get too caught up in which one is better than the other, because it's according to who you are and how long you've been reading the Bible and how much of it you understand. If the best translation you can read is one that you can read and understand, and I'm just going to say that. I know there are people that disagree with me, and that's okay. They have the right to disagree with me, and they might be right and I might be right. But I'm just going to do what I feel like is the right thing according to how I feel like the Lord's leading me. And I would encourage you to do the same thing. Don't take my word for it. You pray, and the Lord may say, I want you to read in this translation. Well, that's the translation you need to be in. So anyway, thank y'all for joining me tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night for the next chapter. And y'all, it's another cold day tomorrow, so y'all be careful and stay warm.